Welcome, everybody, to the NDV podcast, number 4, take 4, 5, 6, something or another. It's been a long day recording in live today. This is Mark, your host, I can't talk. Your host, aka at Cajun Coding on Twitter. This is my guest, Miss Vaida at under Skinny Heart, HRT, not a full heart, on Twitter. And she is from where?
Well, I'm an indie developer. I live in Edinburgh, but I used to live in Belgium before. I'm originally from Lithuania. It's complicated. I make experimental games. I'm mostly interested in short pieces that deal with narrative and sometimes mental health, sometimes just everyday struggles. But yeah, I'm interested in making stuff that hasn't been done in the same way before. And I also do some other creative stuff like songwriting and a bit of photography here and there. I'm just interested in the creative arts in general, I guess. Yeah, that's me.
That is the best intro I've ever had on this show. Yay! Much applause.
Woo.
Much applause to you. And of course, we're not streaming at all. This is just gonna be audio later for everyone. We did have a live stream going on Twitch today. Unfortunately, my Wi-Fi decided to just completely commit seppuku and kill itself out of nowhere. So we're recording this. I'm using my hotspot, and I just do not have the data to be able to do a full stream. So apologies to anyone who goes back trying to find that. I'm gonna start with okay. So you called it all interactive fiction. I want to say. You have some. I haven't seen the code, so I can't comment on your technical merits there. Although all of your games work, I haven't encountered any bugs at all. Although
that's good.
In a survival game, more than a few times I felt like I was losing all control. The audio being as unique as it was. I want to say across all your interactive fiction, you are an amazing writer. Writer and designer, because all of your stuff fits perfectly together. I usually will have, a little nitpick here or there about people's work, but yours just works. It really is a complete package for pretty much anything you get. The Flappy Chew is my one exception to that. But because I think the highest score I got on Flappy Chew was 6.
No, yeah, it's not a forgiving game at all.
No. Why does Pikachu look like Patamon from Digimon, by the way?
I don't know. Maybe that was it's my subconscious working, because I did really like Digimon when I was smaller, yeah. And I didn't watch Pokemon as much, so that must have been it.
It's really weird. I started the game, I was like, is that a yellow Patamon? But, okay, so back to survival game. I'm not going to reveal too much of it for spoiler reasons, but anyone listening to this should go to the description and definitely check it out. If you like Welcome to Night Vale, if you like Portal, if you like any sort of that kind of spooky stuff, where did your inspiration for that game come from?
Well, I usually tend to not plan my games too much in advance and kind of take a game jam approach to them. So when I realize that I'm feeling, I don't know, a bit sad, or there's something that's bothering me in my life, I just tend to just decide that I would make a game about it. And then when I find the mechanic, that's when everything falls into place and I just start writing. So for example, for a survival game, I just had this whole idea of like procrastination and lethargy, and the idea of like a narrator that was kind of explaining to the player what was happening, but at the same time was kind of wary of them in a sense, and this whole feeling of like not really belonging. And I would just like sit at my computer and just write the whole text out in one go, and then that would be it. I would then record it and everything. But yeah, I usually tend to work more impulsively on like my feelings.
You do an amazing job. I want to give a little bit of a spoiler. It's called a survival game, and you're a ghost. So the whole, not really belonging, yeah, definitely fits that idea. And you have like how many games? So it's like 20 to 30 games.
I don't count them, but yeah, there's at least 30 games on the itch. Yeah.
At least 30.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, hold on. Let me see if I can pull up your page.
One thing I do find that's a problem from like getting really good at making small games is that I'm really afraid of scaling up. So I know exactly what to do to like concentrate on one mechanic to like go for a game jam and so on. But when making a larger game, I'm just afraid that I'll just lose focus and then I'll have the same problems I had from like before I got into games properly, which was just like starting a project, doing a lot of writing, but not actually getting into
running out of steam on it.
Yeah, and just having it like full of features and so on, and me not being able to control that. Yeah.
I'll need to invite. I'll see if I can get you invited into our developer group that we have on Discord, because that's a lot of why we have this group. And we've done several groups. We started one on a Twitter group chat. We've got one on Discord that's actually functioning the way we want it to now. And there was one somewhere else we tried to set up for that reason, so that we can keep each other motivated. We can ask each other for bug help, stuff like that. And I think that big game. I definitely understand the issue with losing motivation, because Rocket Box has been in development in one form or another for literally about 3 years. And it's only in the past, 6 months that I've gotten the serious progress that I have on it. And even now, it's like, I'm still sitting there tinkering around with enemies. I need to be making maps and actually putting these things into the code. So I completely understand. And I counted, by the way, 35 current games.
Yeah, there's also, 2 maybe that are on my game jolts that I just never link to because it's like I never use it. But I think that's the total count. Yeah.
Okay, before I keep going with the interactive fiction, because I do want to get over to talks with my mom and talk to you about it again. But where did I Hate Christmas come from?
Ooh.
Because seriously, I swear to God, you worked with the guys who write Welcome to Night Vale on that one. That was that creepy.
Well, actually, I was spending Christmas over in Belgium, so my mother and my grandma lived there, and I just kind of felt really down, like I wasn't getting anything done during the holidays, and I was just, well, it kind of links into what Talks with My Mom is about, with the whole idea of like me having really a great social life in uni, and just everyone being just like really accepted and just okay with everything I am, and then going back into this environment that just is so much more conservative. Like I had forgotten about the environment I used to be in, and so I just felt as if I was going backwards in my progression. And and the game is basically about you eating more and more candy and just transforming yourself into this comical
Slenderman almost.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's definitely elements of that, with like also the figures on the sides just kind of talking. Like it's for me, it's like family members that are kind of pushing onto you, and this expectation of what you should be, and you just not being able to do anything but just eat as much candy as you can and
just
make
to keep
yourself
your mouth shoved full. Yeah. They're talking heads. They mean well, but they're just not at times. Yeah. I think we all have friends and family that are like that. It's like, I know you mean well, but you're kind of missing the point here.
Oh, definitely. And it's very hard to get across the idea that even though you mean well, if the result of what you're doing has a negative impact on the person, then you cannot always justify yourself by just saying, I meant well. Like, you have to kind of take into account that you might need to change the way you're doing things.
Yeah, it's like the person means well kind of situation. A lot of times it's, this may work fine for someone else, but it's not my cup of tea. You're not wrong. You're not bad. It's just not for me, And And I think
Yeah.
that's the problem socially, is if we ever try to address that, be it friends or family or just an acquaintance, like someone we work with, it's always everyone will take it as such a personal attack, and I think.
No, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna mention. There was this book I read about, like, it was about gender and so on, but it talked about this whole idea, as you mentioned, that like there's this rule of like do unto others how you would want things to be done unto you.
Yeah,
but
the golden
that
rule.
never works because
Because what you may want someone to do to you, how they want them to approach you, may not be the way they want to be approached, the way that they work.
Yeah.
I never thought about
exactly.
that. I legitimately never thought about that.
Yeah, I had never thought about that when I read that book either, and just it really stuck with me.
Today I learned. So I guess that transition.
I'm gonna.
Go ahead.
No, I'm gonna link you to the book when I'm done googling it. But yeah, it's pretty good about generally also about some of the social issues we discussed earlier. That I think that would have interested you.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Thank you. But like I was saying, I guess it transitions us to where I was really wanting this episode to wind up with talks with my mom, where I'm assuming that you are lesbian. Am I wrong?
Well, I prefer the term queer now because I feel like labels are useful when kind of at a first level when you're trying to just make yourself understood, but
yes,
like at the end, like everything is like spectrums and everything, so it just makes sense to kind of let go of the labels at some point and just using the umbrella term.
Okay. And I honestly hadn't even thought about saying that because I'm not sure if you're aware, but here in the U.S. it's typically quite a derogatory term. But yeah, you're from Europe, so you can get away with it. You have a free pass. But
there's this whole idea of just like reclaiming terms that are like derogatory and just trying to just make them, be symbols of pride and everything instead of being seen negatively. Yeah.
But yeah, talk to my mom. What it's about, to give a quick rundown for anyone listening that's not going to go play it or click through it, I guess. A female character is having a discussion with her mother, her mom's trying to make her prettier, quote unquote, more girly, feminine, and the character just that's not her style, and her mom just doesn't get it. So that was literally quoted from conversations you've had with your mother and your family?
Well, obviously I cannot remember my mother like word for word, but
yeah, paraphrase.
But most of them, either really did happen or could have easily happened if we were in that situation. So, for example, there's that one scene where there's a person who's trans who is passing by on the street, and then the mother and the daughter have a conversation. This didn't happen actually in real life, but I needed to have that setting in order to introduce like that side of like what my mother would have said in that case. Yeah.
Has she, come across it and read it at all, or is it still just like completely in the dark for her?
Well, she's been making progress, which is always good.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, with like the I Hate Christmas game, like it still is like a very conservative environment. That not very very like she kind of has this idea that do what's best for you, like you're your own person, so I will not impose anything on you.